Do you ever question if the career you're in is truly meant for you? Maybe you hate your job and you feel lost in your life and you don't know what your purpose is, but you're paralyzed by fears. The fear of losing your income, the fear of failing, the fear of what people might think of you, or even the fear of running out of time to figure things out. I've been there. And that's why I quit my 300k job at 26 with no backup plan. And while it was terrifying, it became the most freeing decision of my life. So if you're feeling stuck, let me show you why facing those fears might be the key to finding the life that you truly want. But before I get to that, I think it's probably worth sharing you my story and how I got to this point and all the learnings I've had along the way. Growing up, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I always dreamt of being remembered for doing great things. I was obsessed with getting money and getting rich, but first I needed money and experience. So of course, I needed a plan. And my plan was, after graduating from high school, I was going to study a law degree. Then I was going to get a corporate job where I'm going to make money, learn the skills, network with as many people as I can, start a side hustle until it makes enough money to quit my job and then work on it full time. I was fortunate enough to have fallen into a sales role at a pretty big tech company called Amazon Web Services, where I was 20 years old at that time, making $100,000 a year. And I was also the youngest full-time hire in company history. Within a year, I was promoted to a sales development representative role. And after 2 years, at the age of 23, I was promoted to an account executive role, making me the youngest person to do that role in company history. And throughout my 5 years there, I was receiving awards and accolades constantly. I was awarded Sales Rep of the Year. I was ranked first globally in the most deals created. I was named in the top 50 worldwide prospectors and the top 1% of the organization in 2 consecutive years, respectively. And in my first year as an account executive, I made $350,000 a year, and I was awarded the best performing territory of the year as well. I was making all the money in the world at a young age, and I found something that I was good at. So now you might be thinking, why would you then leave when you had such a good situation going on for you? My plan was to never stick in corporate, but the demands of my job was crazy, but also the money kept me going for a long time, which I was putting all my dreams on hold. But you can see by effect, if you're someone who doesn't want to be in corporate for a long time and your goal is to be in entrepreneurship, your ADHD starts to kick in a lot. My mind just kept jumping from one business idea to another, to a fault where I either never executed or I just gave up on them if I did start them. So I felt that I never kept that promise to myself. And behind all of this success and recognition, I was struggling with depression, anxiety, and severe ADHD. Now I knew that I needed to change, but I couldn't let go of this success story that I was telling myself and to others. And if I was to let that go, who would I be? What would I be worth? I attached my self-worth to how much money I made and the validation that I received from others. And as time progressed, I struggled with imposter syndrome and self-doubt. I started to question why I was like this. Am I really successful? Was my success in tech sales and business actually real? So all these things and these thoughts started to culminate into me burning out, where I felt as if I was hitting my head against the wall and I was constantly distracted about one idea to another, where one day of procrastination would then turn into months of procrastination, then years of procrastination. And this is where I realized I could no longer run away from how I truly felt. And so I realized it doesn't matter what you do, and it doesn't matter how long you lie to yourself. If you aren't actually changing your environment and being true to yourself, you'll always end up in the same place as before, because you're choosing to live a life that isn't aligned to your values and how you feel internally. So I had to make a real change. But first, I had to address my fears that are holding me back and identify where those fears came from. And I'm sure that you might have these similar fears as I did, because for me, I had four main ones. The first fear was if I quit, then I'll have no income. Now, this was my biggest fear, especially because I was making a substantial amount of money. So the thought of going from 350K to $0, that scared the living hell out of me. I was struggling to let go. But I had to ask myself, you know what scares you even more? Not living up to your true potential. Sure, you're not going to make money for a while, but to be honest, you already are paying the cost. You're paying the cost of inaction, the cost of time, and the cost of never feeling fulfilled, which will ultimately affect your mental and physical health and your relationships. It's like as if you're walking wounded and without your back straight. So how are you supposed to lead your loved ones and people in your life and yourself if you're not feeling good about yourself also? Now, I'm well aware that I'm in a fortunate financial position where I can say this, but trust me when I say this, the stress of money is always going to be there, no matter how much money you make. So I want you to picture what would life look like from 10 years from now if you didn't change anything. Would it be better or worse? And if your answer is worse, then you need to make a change and you need to take risks and you need to follow what feels right for you. You need to also believe that you are resourceful enough to figure it out. And being in a tough financial position will put your back against a wall where you are forced to be resourceful. The second fear that I had was, I have no plan, so what am I going to do? This fear will keep you stuck if you let it. Maybe you're not ready to quit because you have no idea what you're going to do after. So you're now trying to come up with the best idea that will make you money and become your escape plan that you can latch onto. Now, if you're the type of person who already has a plan and you're already doing the necessary steps to transition into that idea full-time while being able to cope with the corporate grind, then I salute you. I pray that you will be successful in doing so, and it's only a matter of time. But if you are the person who has already tried this and you're not getting anywhere, or if you really just can't cope with that job of yours anymore, then I want to reassure you, it is not wrong for you to feel like this. The reason why you feel like this is because you are burnt out from the demands of your job. And even if you are hardly working and you're just procrastinating, you are still burnt out. The mental state of uncertainty, confusion, and feeling lost is draining you to a point where you feel like you can't do anything and you're in a spiral. That is normal. And the way that you get out of that is you need to stop comparing yourself to others. We're all just trying to get to the same goal, and everyone has their own journey to getting there, which is just to live the life that we want. And that starts with just doing something. Sitting there and trying to figure out the best idea while you're in this state is the worst decision that you can make, because you are constantly overthinking and you're ridden by ADHD and paralysis analysis. You don't need to have a plan. You just need to have a direction. And even if you don't feel like you will enjoy it or know that you'll be good at it, you are overthinking again. You don't know until you try. So clarity comes from just doing the thing itself. Now, the third fear that I had was, what happens if my idea fails? Maybe I'm not as smart and as capable as people think I am. Imposter syndrome and self-doubt is always going to be there, no matter how successful you are. See, the reason why you feel like this is because you weren't paying attention to how you achieved that particular thing in the first place. Because I guarantee you, everyone has had some sort of success in whatever they were doing. Even if it didn't end up going anywhere, any bit of success leaves clues. So look back and think deeply about how you got to that success, and you will notice that you are doing something right to get there. Now, if you worry about your idea not being the best or failing, which is stopping you from even trying, then you're always going to be stuck. You just need to realize that you don't have to have it all figured out. No one knows what the fuck they're doing in this life. They just do, and clarity comes as they go. Things become more clear as you go. Now, I'm not trying to be rude here, but the reason why there are a lot of dumb people who are rich and successful is because they're not stuck in their head. They just see and they do. Smart people tend to overthink everything, which leads to doubt. It leaves you paralyzed and just stuck in the same position where you're just procrastinating on that thought and it gives you anxiety. So the best way to do it is that you need to practice taking action and just getting out of that head of yours and just do the thing. There you will gain momentum. Now, even if your idea ends up failing, then at least you know that you discovered parts about yourself, you've gained new skills, and you had the courage to do it, and you can take those learnings to apply to the next. So again, clarity comes from just doing the thing itself. Now, the fourth fear that I had was, what would people think of me if I admitted that I'm not as successful as they perceive me to be? Will anyone love and accept me? When I was deciding to quit, I was worried about what people would think of me. All the perception that they had of me was going to be shattered. I was scared that if I wasn't successful, then no one would love, respect, and accept me. Now, if you fear the same, then it's because you place your self-worth in how much you make and what you do for work. You need to let that go. Your self-worth comes from within. It doesn't matter if you're not where you want to be yet. What actually matters is how you show up every day, how you think and how you act, and what you are doing. And if you're doing that, the outcome is simply just a byproduct of your character. See, my mentor has a saying that's very profound, and that is, your thoughts become your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. So, just be. As long as you're being your true and best self, it's not a matter of if, but simply a matter of when. And surprisingly, when I told a few people that I trusted and who I knew who would understand because of their own journey to success, I was supporting the firm that it would be the best decision that I'll ever make in my life. The only people who will actually look down on you are those who are not ready to step into this journey and face their fears. A lot of people in this world have dreams and aspirations, but they're too scared to chase their dreams and they allow the excuses of life to get in the way. But even then, I doubt that they would look down on you because they secretly wish that they had the courage to do what you're about to do. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks because what you're about to do is actually very fucking brave. And I realized that the reason why my side hustles never worked out and why my work performance started to slump was because I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. Because I didn't know what it was. And by default, money became my purpose. But I learned, man, like, money can never be your purpose. Because if you're not living true to yourself, you'll always hate what you're doing. And so once I realized what my purpose was, and when I faced those fears, my mindset shifted. And then, so I put in my letter of resignation, and here I am, a few months later, and I'm talking to you guys on this camera. Look, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, I always wanted to be rich, and I always wanted to be remembered for doing something great. But I had to surrender all of that and realize that true greatness comes from serving others. I realized that this was my purpose. This was my calling. And I thank God every single day for that. You know, as long as I'm living out my purpose to my fullest potential, then I just trust God that He will provide me with all the things that He knows that I need. And, you know, whatever beliefs and values that you have, you still need to find your purpose. And I still truly believe that God has given everyone a gift. And if you listen carefully to what that voice says from within, without the noise from the outside world, you will find out what it is. And even if it doesn't fit all of the excuses and perceived wants that you have, you still need to trust that calling. Because by living authentically, you will receive success in ways that you actually need and not in the ways that you think you need. So how do you find your purpose? You don't need a plan, you just need a direction. So sit down and look back at your career capital. Think deeply about all the things you've done, what you're good at, what you enjoy, and your values. ADHD dissolves when you feel truly aligned to your purpose and are walking towards that direction. Clarity will come when you begin walking towards that direction. On this journey, I've actually learned so much about myself and what I'm capable of, what I'm bad at, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, and there's still a lot of self-limiting beliefs I'm still fighting. There's still a lot of internal resistance to owning up to what I know I should be stepping into. But this is part of the journey. This walk is not meant to be easy, but nothing worth having in life comes easy. So do the work, be brave, and pursue what is meant for you. God bless you.